Hey y'all, how y'all doing? Okay, this video is just to give the scripture to the last video that I did. Yeah, I ain't trying to confuse y'all. I get all this together. It's a lot of stuff in motion. Once I get it together, I'll be able to not just rush this, but normally I just start talking about little stuff and then I just let God take over the conversation and go wherever he want to go. My last video I spoke on I'm standing 10 toes down on what I'm seeing in New Orleans. Like, I'm standing 10 toes down on this. Cause he said, like he saying it, he said it like, I'm just speaking what I see. I'm just told to speak what I see. I speak what I see, speak what I hear. So this yeah. So with that being said, when I was doing my last video and I was just doing a recap, I was going all over the place, but it's 3 different things going on in the Bible that I'm gonna speak on. And actually, I didn't even know this was in the Bible about the nephilim, but I spoke on nephilim when I was speaking on the last video about this mixed species, and I was speaking on Enoch, but actually he even mentioned nephilim in the Bible. Like he mentioned nephilim, this hybrid species. He mentioned it in Genesis when I was talking about he created man. Really, he had a regret for all creation that he had created. Like, he was just grieved with everything that was going on. Like, it just got so out of control. I can only imagine, like, the thought of God looking like, dang, my creation out of control. Like, that's what I envisioned. That's why I started laughing when I was saying it. Like, he created all this. He in his heart, he wanted to be good, but he giving us free will. And one way or another, people said angels did not have free will, but obviously they had some kind of will because they rebelled against God. So they had to have some kind of choice in this matter. So people try to say that, ooh, angels, they different from humans because they don't have free will. We do. They had the option to rebel. They had the option to go against God. And some of them did go against him. And I speak on 2 rebellions because Satan wanted to be God. He was so obsessed with God. He was a high angel under God. So he had his own, he was an archangel. So angels, he was an overseer over angels as an archangel. And he was just looking at the praise and the glory that God was getting, and he just had this obsession with, he want the praise, he want the glory. He want to be God. He was created by God, but at a certain point, he wanted to be God. Yeah, I'm just letting God just go where he want to go with this. So at a certain point, Satan wanted to be God. How can you be a God and you was created by God? How can you be the creator when you the created? I know. I'm just putting this out there for y'all. Like, come on now. And I'm talking about with Satan. Like, you gotta be delusional. Like, it's something ain't clicking up here for you to even think you can even come for the one that created you. Yeah. So, but that's what he did. He wanted to come for the one who created him and gave him his power. And even with that being said, in his mind, he feel like he can overtake God, the one that got all power. Like, in his mind, he really do feel like he gonna win the war that's already been won. Like, how delusional can you get? Like, to feel like you can come up against the one that created you, the one that gave you your power, that you gonna overcome that person with that power, and not only the power that he gave you, the third of the angels that he gave you too. You still feel like you finna come up and defeat that? Yeah. In his mind, he feel like he gonna do it. So, he trying to bring as many people down as possible, y'all, in this process. He trying to bring as many people down in this process, but in his mind, and I'm just breaking this down for y'all so y'all can understand, Satan feel like he can go against the one, the all-powerful. He feel like he can overtake the all-powerful, and he can get all the praise and he can get all the glory in all this, in this whole process. In my mind, when I look at God, who created Satan, and then Satan at a certain point feel like, I'm going to go up against my Father, who created me. Or what's that? Well, that's his creation. So I'm going to go up against the one that created me. Like, that's what I'm getting. He right there with him in the beginning. He right there with him. Like, he had a very high position in heaven. Like, he's like up there. He like a Judas. The Judas that betrayed Jesus is just like Satan that betrayed God. The Judas that betrayed Jesus in the Bible, walking with him all around me. At one point or another, boom, them betray him. And he betrayed Jesus. I talk about that spirit of betrayal. Satan, he's in a high position. God got him so high up. He got angels under him. At a certain point, Satan decided to go up against God. And in this process, he took a third of the angel with him in this process. So, and me, I'm just trying to think. I'm like, okay, he in a position of power. And then he get up with these group. It wasn't like he got up with a random. Well, you know what? I ain't even get deep into that. I can think deep on it, but I ain't finna get too deep in it. But okay, he took God, let him take a third of the angel with him. So if God made 1,000,000 angels, Satan got a third of those 1,000,000 angels. Satan really, if you look at how God doing it, because God could have been destroyed them. God could have been destroyed them. God could have attacked them. God didn't even attack them. God let his archangel Michael fight them. God said, you ain't even on my level to even fight me, but I'll let you fight somebody on your level. You gonna fight Michael. You and Michael, y'all go with it. Cause this gonna be a fair fight. Well, it ain't gonna be no fair fight, but the closest thing you gonna get to fighting me is gonna be Michael, my archangel. Let me stop. Don't say I can go deep in this, y'all. So, God, he didn't go up against Satan, but he sent Michael, his archangel. He like, you handled it. God could have killed them. But even with everything going on, everything that's around and everything that's alive serve a purpose. Just know that. Everything that's around and everything that's alive serve a purpose. And it's some stuff that God told me, a revelation that's not even in the Bible dealing with him and Satan. So, and I'm not going to even speak on that. But just know that, you know, he felt like he going to go up against God. God gave him his power, but he felt like, no, I'm more powerful than you. I'm like, woo. I say woo because when you get so prideful and your ego, when you coming up against you can't even think straight. Like, how can you possibly in your mind feel like you more powerful than God himself? And he created you. But in your mind, you feel like you stronger and you more powerful than him. And he gave you your power. He could take your power away, but you still in your mind somewhere. Like mentally, like you got mental illness. At a certain point, you got mental illness because there's no way. Okay. God, you got me speaking on this because you know what? I was speaking on the free will. And God was talking about his regret and how people felt like angels don't have free will. But apparently they do, because there was one rebellion. The second rebellion was with Enoch, when he talked about these group of angels felt like they was gonna mate with the women on earth. These angels who God sent to just be overseers and just kind of watch, make sure everything going on, because we play a role with angels. Like, we supposed to work with each other, whether y'all know it or not. You know, God, some of them, he opened their eyes and they could see angels, but angels and us, we supposed to work in harmony with each other. A lot of people don't know how to tap into that and allow your angel that's assigned to you to help work with you through what you're going through on this earth. People ain't figured that out yet, because the church really don't teach you how to lock in with your angel, but everybody got a assigned angel and they ready to help. But, you know, that's a process in itself. Okay, so the angels, they wanted families. And so they decided, okay, we want families. We want the women. And then, you know, that made me think, okay, God, he assigned, you know, men, and he assigned these women and men to marry. And these archangels looking at these men in my mind and got like jealous and like, nah, we want the families. So I see that in a way it could have been some kind of attack on the men, because you got men and then you got these angels that's lusting, because that's what it was, the demon of lust. Come on, the angels to the point where they want the women that God assigned to the men. So can you imagine that conflict? So they had to have a hate for men because they jealous of the men, because they want the men women, like they want what these men got. So just the creation of man itself, you see the angels lusting after, looking at what these men got and like, I want that. And so guess what? It's gonna create a problem for the men. Cause now the angels gonna be at war with the men. And I guess that's what, yeah. So I guess that's why men under attack so much. The spirits. Cause that's where I'm going with it. I'm looking, I'm like, okay. Enoch say, okay, the women slept with the men, but then you, at a certain point, you got to see the men as a threat, because you want them women. You want the women that God assigned to the men. You want that. So now you see the men as a threat, and when you see the men as a threat, what do? Angels, what do? So they end up starting up these family with these women who now is out of alignment with God, because God didn't even set this up. They out of alignment through their free will and the women's free will, which at a certain point the women had to be the victim, because you got the angels who are in the position of power. They're probably looking over you, but they abuse their position of power, and then all of a sudden, one way or another, they end up mating with them. But then it was abuse of power too, and the angels and they abuse their position with these women. They end up having their own species. That's why I talk about hybrid. People can break that down even more. I just call them hybrid and keep it as simple as possible, because it's very complicated. It can get complicated. I try to keep this story, keep all this simple. So they create these hybrids. But they saying that the angels, not only did they create their own seed, they wanted their own seed. So not only did they birth their own seed through these women, they needed women to do that. So not only did they birth their own seed through these women, some people speculate, they get deep into nephilim. There's like scholars at this say that these same angels was made with animals and everything and was creating these hybrids. So that's why I was saying in the other video, if you see in ancient times, you'll see pictures and they'll have like a face of a bird, but then be a human body. They thinking that these angels not only went outside the realm of humans, but just species all together, and they were just trying to plant their seed in the earth. Plant their seeds in the earth. Not only through humans, but through all species. And then it's like, you ain't got no, like, it ain't no switch to cut it off. Because when you outside of God, it's no switch there. So it ain't just like, okay, we just gonna have family with the humans and then we gonna stop. It's like, you are angel, you're in a position of power, you got gifts and stuff that we don't have, and you got, you got other stuff going on, and it's like enticing the women that you could do all this stuff. And so in a way, you kind of use your position of power and you victimize, and I'm gonna say victimize, because if you look at it, yeah. So the women enticed by these men who got all these special gifts, special power, but they not even human, but they in human form. They trick these women, have kids with these women, because it was a trick. You coming in the form of human, but you not human though. And so that's why I say trick. You trick, manipulated these women, and then you started planting your seed within the earth. But that wasn't what God had designed. But that's what, and I think He already knew that when you give free will, then they can either go right or left. They got a choice. I'm not gonna keep them like robots and just this the only way. I'm gonna give them a choice of the path that they want to take. So free will is like a double-edged sword. Giving people free will is like a double-edged sword, because now they can choose good, but guess what? They also equally could choose bad. And you got to sit and you got to deal with the effects of them choosing good, but then you also have to deal with them choosing bad. That's free will. It's a double-edged sword. So I'm finna read this, because I told y'all in the other video that I gotta read the scripture that go with this. And because everything I speak come from God, everything I speak can be backed up with the Bible. Whether I quote the Bible or not, if you did, you're gonna find what I'm talking about. So let me read the first part, which is the Nephilim, which I didn't even know was in the Bible. I knew it from Enoch was in the Bible, but it's in Genesis too. He briefly speak on it, but Enoch speak in more detail about it. So let me read the first section of this. And this is Genesis 6. It's Genesis 6, y'all. That's where all the action is. All the action in Genesis 6. Okay. So, in Genesis 6, because that's where the flood and stuff happened. And that's when God was just grieved with everything going on. And I'm trying to like open this Bible up to this. Okay. So now I'm reading right here. I'm reading Judas. I said Judas. Genesis. I'm reading Genesis chapter 6. It say the wickedness, and the title of chapter 6 from this section is just the wickedness of judgment of man. Okay, I'm finna just read through this, y'all, and try to read as fast as possible. It say, now it came to pass when the men began to multiply on the face of the earth, and the daughters were born to them, that the sons of God saw the daughters of men, and that they were beautiful, and they took wives for themselves, and all whom they chose. And the Lord said, my spirit shall not strive with man forever, for he is indeed flesh, yet his days shall be 120 years. There were giants on the earth in those days, and also afterwards, when the sons of God came into the daughters of men, they bore children to them. They were mighty men who were of old, men of renown. Then the Lord saw that the wickedness of the man was great in the earth, and that every intent of the thoughts of his heart was only evil continually. And the Lord was sorry that he had made man on earth, and he was grieved in his heart. So the Lord said, I will destroy man whom I created from the face of the earth, both man and beast, creeping things, and birds of the air, for I am sorry that I have made them. But Noah found grace in God's eyes. One man. God wanted to destroy everything. If people be like, but ooh, this gonna die, and that gonna die. God wanted to destroy everything. But as you see, it was one man out of everybody on the whole earth. You know, I was talking in the other book, and went in the other video about God said he'll save a soul for 10 people in one city. On the whole earth, it's only one person, Noah. Okay, so it's a Noah pleases God. So I'm reading, so it say, but Noah found grace in the eyes of the Lord. This is the genealogy of Noah. Noah was a just man, perfect in the generations. Noah walked with God. Noah begat 3 sons, Shem, Ham, and Japheth. The earth was so corrupt before God, and the earth was filled with violence. So God looked upon the earth, and indeed it was corrupt, for all flesh had corrupted their way on the earth. And God said to Noah, the end of all flesh have come before me. The end of all flesh has come before me, for the earth is filled with violence through them. And behold, I will destroy them with the earth. Make yourself an ark of joppa wood. Make rooms in the ark, and cover it inside outside with pitch. And this is how you shall make it. And the length of the ark shall be 300 cubits, its width 50 cubits, and its height 30 cubits. You shall make a window for the ark, and you shall finish it to a cubit from above, and set the door of the ark on its side. You shall make it with the lower, second, and the third decks. And behold, I myself am bringing flood waters on the earth to destroy from under heaven all flesh, which is the breath of life. Everything that is on the earth shall die. But I will establish my covenant with you, and you shall go into the ark, you, your sons, your wives, and your sons' wives with you, and everything living, and every living thing of all flesh you shall bring two of every sort into the ark, to keep them alive with you. And they shall be male and female, of the birds after every kind of animals that are of its kind, every creeping thing of the earth after its kind, two of every kind will come to you, to keep them alive. And you shall take for yourself of all flood that is eaten, and you shall gather it to yourself, and it shall be food for you and them. Thus Noah did according to all that the Lord commanded him, so he did. I'm trying to see. Yeah, I'm still like looking, I'm like kind of scamming through here. I guess it's like in my in the book. It's a new the book right there. Let me look and see this. I'm gonna come right back. I'm gonna come right back because I just read. Cause see, it's so many different translations. It say the same thing, but it's a different translation. I'm finna look and see where I had read the other thing. Then I'm coming right back. The translation that I read, where I say it's like Genesis 6:4. It say there were giants on the earth in those days, and also afterwards when the sons of men came into the daughters of men, they bore children to them, and they were mighty men who were of old, men of renown. Okay, that passage, if you read like the New International Version, it used nephilim instead of giants right there. And people think that, people say that when these angels was mixing and contaminating, because really when Noah, in my mind, Noah blood wasn't contaminated. So when they was like mixing and everybody like, and you got these angels who was mixing and stuff, it ended up like contaminating the seed, so to speak. But Noah still had a pure seed. Some telling me that, dealing with that, because it was just so much like everybody just mixing and all this, like all this was going on with the angels trying to plant their seed and stuff, and they started producing these giants and mighty men. And that's where some people say where David and Goliath, they saying Goliath was a Nephilim. Goliath the giant, and everybody talking about David killed Goliath the giant. Cause during that time. And look, that was after the flood. The giant Goliath that David had to fight, cause this Genesis right here. And I'm going into the flood. And it's speaking of giants after the flood. So some of these Nephilim survived the flood, apparently. Okay. So yeah, so that's what I was saying. Like God had, he just, and this is before the new covenant, before he sent his son. He had just this regret for just going through and just trying to just extend his love through creativity, through creating all this life on earth, because everything just like went haywire. In my mind, I could picture it like you done made all this stuff. It probably be good and it backfiring. Like they didn't use it for bad. Like you know how you could do something for good. You could use something and it can have good intent, but you can flip it and then it could just be bad. And you like, dog, like the internet. You know how you can use the internet and it could be educational. It can help you do a lot of stuff. You know, the internet can be a good thing, but then the flip side, that it's so much evil can come through the internet, and sometimes it's more bad come out of it than good. You don't even want to deal with the internet. You just be like, forget the good, because it's the bad outweigh the good. So that's what I'm thinking with this right here. Like when you look at all of this creation, then these angels then went abused their position of power, planted their seed, and you got all this like in the mix. You like it was like he only found one good person, Noah. It don't say one good person, Noah. But then it said Noah, and then Noah had 3 sons, and then to talk about his wives. But out of all of this, God found Noah to be just like perfect in his sight. So Noah had grace with God. That's what it say. It said, but Noah found grace with God in God's eyes. So Noah might not have been it just say, but Noah found grace in God's eyes. You know, word for word, that's what it say. But Noah found grace. But Noah found grace. But Noah found grace. Out of everything he created, Noah was the one who God had grace with. Like when he looked at Noah, he just had grace with Noah. I know. So it makes me think, you know, about that seed and all the interbreeding, all that stuff that was going on. And all this stuff, you know, you got this one person, Noah. So you tell Noah, okay, get on the ark. And some people even say, like, even the wives possibly may have had Nephilim in their blood. Like, even the wife, I don't know, though. I was listening to other people that speculate, other scholars that speculate this deep into the Nephilim and the bloodline of Nephilim. And you know, when I just read about, you know, Noah's Ark, and he said, you, your sons, wives, they saying that everybody on there, it was other stuff going on there. Like maybe through his wives, through the sons' wives. because when they got off the ark, it started going right back in the same direction that of what it came out of. It started going right back. The evil and all that just started building right back up again. So some people even speculate with even with the wives and stuff all being on there, like everybody that was on the ark, and probably wasn't just like, okay, righteous walking with God, but God spared his whole bloodline just because he found grace with Noah. Do that make sense? So because he found grace with Noah, he like, okay, you, your sons, and they wives, them the only ones that's allowed to go. Everybody else, ain't nobody else going past this point. But it don't say that they were necessarily saved because they was righteous. It just that Noah was the one that found grace with God. So he spared his sons and his sons' wives. They could have been like wicked. Because the wickedness started right back up as soon as they got out that ark. But he still said, I'm sparing them. Okay, y'all. So that's why I was reading, because like I spoke on nephilim, and then Genesis 6 going to these mixing. The sons of men was looking at the daughters, and then they end up having these kids and stuff like that. It's like these super species. It's like this super breed. They like giants, they mighty. Yeah. So I'm finna go into the next thing I was speaking on, Sodom and Gomorrah. Remember I was speaking on that in my book. I mean in my other video about the city. And the two men kind of visit them. And God said, I say the city for 10. But then God still ended up destroying that city, y'all. So I'm finna read this to see if anything just like explain why God ended up destroying the city. After he said, okay, I say the city for 10. Then when you read, God like, get out that city right now, I'm gonna destroy that city. Okay, let me see, because people stop it right there. Like, people be like, okay, he said he gonna say the city for 10, and everybody just be like, okay, 10 people can stop it right. I think you can probably delay it to a certain degree. You kind of can slow down what's gonna happen. But at the end of the day, what he spoke about destroying the city ended up happening. So I think that the righteous can probably pray to God, and God might have like a change of heart and might extend the time of what's to come, so it won't be as detrimental. But he still ended up destroying the city. So let me see what it say. So I'm on, and you know, I kept talking about, I didn't know if you were Abraham or Lot. I'm like, they together, then they not together. Okay, both of them kind of like in and out in this whole story. That's why I was like, is it Abraham, is it Lot? In the other video. Okay, so this right here is Genesis, and this is after the flood. And this Genesis, maybe I should have read the promises of God. You know what? Because, you know, he had the flood. And I feel like he had the flood to try to save the bloodline. Because it was just like them angels had created, started mixing with these men. And God just said, I got to destroy it all. And not only with that, he said, the beast, man and beast, creeping thing, and birds in the air. For I am sorry I have made them. But Noah found grace in God's eyes. So when he said, I am sorry I have made them, they were saying that these some people speculate that these angels, so-called angels, who was assigned to kind of watch everything, was even sleeping with the birds. That's why I say a bird face and human body. And he like, I got to destroy this. I don't know, though. You know, people just say it's the wickedness, but I think it was more going on than sin. I think it was way more going on than sin for him to say, I got to destroy all creation. I think it's a little bit more going on than that, y'all. So then he had the great flood. See, the reason, then he had the great flood, y'all. And this is his new covenant with creation. Because he's, what's coming to me, because I'm speaking on this and stuff's talking to me at the same time. If you read the law books of the Bible, certain animals were allowed to get on, and certain animals could not get on. You know, I told you, and I told you a certain part that the animals that could not get on end up attacking everybody that tried to get on, because God did not allow nobody to get on that ark. But that don't mean they didn't try. They tried. But when they tried, God sent these animals. And he sent the animals that could not get on attacked all these people. And my first mind is like, maybe the animals that could not get on were animals that was part of their seed, possibly. Like these hybrids that could not get on the ark. Because God only said 2 of each kind. So he got the 2 of each kind that could get on the ark. And the animals that was not allowed to get on the ark was the ones that end up attacking the people that tried to get on the ark. Because I'm like, okay, you got the animals on the ark. But then everybody think that it might have been a mixture with the animals too. But then whatever got on the ark probably wasn't no mixed breed. I know, y'all. Because he trying to, like, clean it up a little bit. Like, he trying to clean this up. He like, woo, I created this. He watch. I can only imagine looking down, seeing all this. Like, woo, I created this. Everybody just, all this violence. Like, I ain't expected. This ain't what I planted people for. This ain't what I created people and animals and all this for. All this going on. Okay. So, they talk about God's covenant with creation. So, this still Genesis. This Genesis 8. It say, and 8 verse 20. It say, then Noah built an ark to the Lord and took every clean animal and every clean bird and offered burnt offerings on the altar. And the Lord smelled a soothing aroma. Then the Lord said in his heart, I will never again curse the ground for man's sake. Never curse the ground. You got to, when you look at what God's saying, with everything going on, you have to take it word for word. Like, you have to look at it word for word, so you don't add nothing in and take nothing out. But he said, and this is his covenant with creation, with all creation, not just man. So it say, I will never again curse the ground for man's sake, although the imagination of man's heart is evil from his youth. So it's saying even from your youth, their heart is evil. You know how people be like, oh, that's just a kid. Ooh, that's just a kid. According to God, he said a man's heart is evil from his youth. Even when they little, their hearts is just can be evil. And I think that's like that could fool you. And I ain't saying, well, let me not even get into that. Cause it's like people actually, in certain countries stuff use kids as weapons. Cause people just so vulnerable to, ooh, that's a kid. But shoot, they heart can be evil too. You gotta have discernment even with kids out here. Nor will I ever again destroy living things. Nor will I ever again destroy every living thing as I have done. He said, while the earth remains, while the earth still here, y'all, seed time and harvest, cold and heat, summer, winter, night and day shall not cease. So as long as earth here, you can expect everything that's supposed to go on, be continuing to go on. And say, so the Lord blessed Noah and his sons and said to them, be fruitful, multiply, fill the earth, and the fear of you and the dread of you shall be on every beast on the earth, on the birds of the air, on all that move on the earth, and all the fish of the sea, and they are given in your hand. Every moving thing that lives shall be food for you. I have given you all things, even as the green herbs. See, he said, I give you all this. Everything can be food for you. I know some people, because God take me everywhere with this. I be trying to do, okay, but some people like, certain people with their food and they diet, they like, you can't eat this, you can't eat that. According to the Bible, you can eat all things. All things is given to you. Now me, I don't eat pork, I don't eat ground beef, I don't eat red meat. But that's just for me and my spiritual growth and my spiritual strength. So I have to deprive my flesh in order to have the strength that I need and the power that I need spiritually. So I don't eat those food because it's like a fast for me. And if you see God taking me another place. If you read the New Testament, when God told some of the disciples why we can't cast these spirits out, and Jesus told them certain spirits you have to fast and pray to cast them out. Like certain authority that you got to fast and pray for that. So with me being on the diet that I'm on, I'm fasting every day. Every day for I don't know how many years now. I say about 10. It's been a minute since I ate red meat, pork, ground beef. I don't eat that. So that's my fast. So they give me, so I got spiritual authority to a certain degree and a spiritual advantage and spiritual power. Certain things I can't do because I fast. Now I need to put prayer on there. Because I got the power through the fasting part. So now it's time for me to pray so I can have the what I need out here. Okay. Because I'm trying to get to the part where he's talking about the rainbow. So I even go down and read this. So he just told him, you know, you can eat everything, but some people be like, oh, you can't eat this, you can't eat that. Well, according to God, after he, you know, everything went on, he said you really can eat everything. Everything is yours to eat. Whatever you choose to eat now. If you want it for personal reasons or for healthy reasons, you feel like, okay, I don't want to eat this, I don't want to consume that. Okay, cool. But according to God, it's nothing off limit, really. You know, y'all get what I'm saying. Because the imagination of the man is evil. So somebody might be like, ooh, ain't nothing off limit. I'm a cannibalist. Let me eat human. But y'all know what I'm talking about. Y'all know I ain't going that far with this. Because when you evil, it's like, it's this void. And it's nothing that can fill that void. Like, it just get deeper and deeper, darker and darker. Like, it's like it's like the bottomless pit. Like, it's nothing there. Like, you're going to keep falling and falling and falling and falling and falling. Yeah. So, God, take me everywhere. Like, okay, God. Yeah, I'm talking about the bottomless pit. I'm talking about, like, when it's a void. It's like a black hole. It's nothing to fill that void. Like, absolutely nothing. I don't care what you do. I don't care how hard you try. I don't care what, you know, it's nothing that can fill the void. You know, and this taking me back to, like, people. People that's, like, they got voids in their life. And they try to, like, self-medicate. However they self-medicate. Just say with food, since we talking about food. So you self-medicate with food. So you eat, and it just bring this emotion on you. It bring this temporary peace on you. But at a certain point, that food is going to become, you're going to become a slave to the food because you're going to be eating, and never get full. Like, you're going to be trying to fill a void that you cannot fill with food because you using food to fill a void that only God can fill. So you turn the food, you eat. It's like a bottomless pit. It's like you cannot, I don't care what you eat, how much you eat, you can never fill that void. If you turn the food full, that was everything. So everything is just like you're going to keep doing it. It's going to be so repetitious to the point where you're going to be a slave to whatever it is that you're doing. Because it's a never ending. It's something that it's an appetite you cannot feed. Some of these, like, yeah, when you deal with, like, certain spirits and stuff, demons, it's an appetite you cannot feed. So, like, just say you got the spirit of, just say, like, doing drugs. Okay, like, people that do drugs with them. Just say, okay, you might pop a pill. Okay, cool. Then you find yourself popping pills all day. Like, it's just like an appetite you cannot feel. Like, you cannot feel the appetite. You cannot feel that void. Like, it's nothing you can do. It don't matter how many pills you take. It don't matter what you got going on. What you doing is not going to fill that void. And at a certain point, you become a slave to what you're doing. That means a demon has taken over at that point. You become a slave to that demon that's over that drug that you're doing. And then at that, yeah. Because people all you got to do is go to God, but if you looking in the other way, you're going to become a slave to what you're doing because what you're doing is just this void. You know, in the beginning, it was like the earth was void. That's what it's taking me to. I'm tickling myself. In the beginning, when God created heaven and earth, it talked about this void. You know, in the beginning, in the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth was without form and void. And darkness was on the face of the deep. Yeah. So when you got that void, it's like this darkness. It's like it's nothing you can do. I don't care how much you do. It's like it's like the sun that never ends. This is the song that doesn't end. And it's just going to repeat itself. It's just repetitious all the way to the day that it's going to end up at a certain point. You know, if you don't turn to God from what you're doing and look to God to fill your void. Because he's talking about the earth was just void without form. And then God stepped in. And God said, let there be light. And it was light. So you have to let him be the light in your life. Because as long as it's dark, it's going to get darker and darker and darker, so to speak. For whatever you got going on, the voids in your life. the voids in y'all life, people try to look for things to try to fill the void instead of going to God, which is the light, which is going to fill the void. And then you find yourself stuck in this cycle that you can't get out of. And you become a slave to whatever it is. You become a slave to food. You just be eating. Don't even get food. Just be eating. And then yeah. But it say all sin ultimately leads to death. So no matter what you do, death is the outcome. So if you eat, you overeat, you're going to have a lot of health conditions behind it. And ultimately, it's going to end in death. Like no matter what you do, it's going to ultimately, and when I say death, I mean premature death. It's going to ultimately. Now, let me stop. I ain't finna do that. I am not finna try to figure out the way to say that. Yeah, y'all. This video is like 20 minutes. I ain't even went into the cities yet. Okay, I'm just gonna end this here because I was speaking on 3 different things. And I'm tickling myself. I'm speaking on 3 different things, y'all. So I was speaking on the 3 different things. Okay, I spoke on, and I said I was going to do a video on this. And I only did 1 part of the 3 parts, God. Okay, because I probably been talking about Sodom and Gomorrah. Remember the city? And all that. I'm going to do that next. So this is the end of this video right here, because this is already like too long. And then I'm going to this Sodom and Gomorrah. I'm going to speak on these cities, and because I'm backing everything that I'm saying. And the other videos and stuff that I do, I don't put the scripture with it, but scripture go with everything I'm talking about. Because everything I'm talking about coming from God. Everything. So everything will be connected right back to the word. Everything go right back to what I'm talking about. So I'm finna just break this down with the word. What I'm talking about in the other video about what I've been saying. Okay. I'm finna do the second video to this so I can break down the second part of what was going on from the other video.